The MTDCNC Podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, unique metals for demanding applications, providing first-class performance and an international service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the MTD Podcast. Now, just a bit of feedback on our podcasts. They're now getting downloaded around 5,000 times per week across our platforms. So thank you to everybody that is subscribing. We're obviously doing something right. People are enjoying our content, and that's going to be equal today as well, because I'm with Wayne Boucher from Acquired Precision Consultancy, and we're going to be talking about the services that he provides to our industry. Wayne, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Now, there'll be some people that might be familiar with you, but then there's going to be thousands that aren't. So I think to start this, it would be good to get an understanding of what Acquired Precision Consultancy is and what you do.
So Acquired Precision Consultancy is a company that I created to address the skill shortage in the engineering sector. Having been in the industry for 20 years, I've realised that one of the biggest problems that most engineering companies face is the lack of skills and the lack of investment based on those skills. So I've been witnessing this for years and years, and I thought it would be a great opportunity. I've got a lot to offer and a lot to give back to the industry, and having had my own machine shop for 9 years, I thought it would be a great time to use my skills and help other people. I
mean, it sounds like it's quite a good time. It's quite good timing by yourself, because you mentioned a key word there, which is kind of skills shortage, skills gap.
Yep.
It's hard for modern machine shops to be able to find the right people to service their customers' requirements, isn't it? And to get the best out of their machine shop, really. So kind of finding, I suppose we're going to go through some of the areas that you're supporting companies within your consultancy, but I suppose the first one would be people. It is hard for businesses to find the right people in their company to get the best out of their business. And is that part of what you're thinking of or you're doing within your business?
Yeah, so skills are holding a lot of companies back, and a lot of companies that I speak to say, I'd love to buy a new machine, I'd love to invest, but we haven't got the skills or the staff to be able to run the machine, to set the machine up, to program it. We don't know what machine would best suit our contract that we've got or a particular project. And this is now starting to hold people back. So with my experience and my skill set, I would like to go into companies like that and to say, let's have a look at the job. Let's go through it step by step. Look at, what type of part is it? Is it 3 axes, 4 axes, 5 axes? Is it a complex part? Is it turning? And really look at it in granular detail, and then say, right, what is the best machine to make that part? If they're looking to invest, or if not, we look at their existing machine shop and say, what is the most productive machine in the building to put this job on? And once we've chosen that and decided whether we're going to invest or use an existing plant, the next thing is to then obviously look at their setup, look how they program parts, who's doing it, and really kind of baby step them through the whole process. And offer my programming services. Obviously, I can use most CAD/CAM packages that are out there, and program it in an efficient way. Maybe I'll come up with a way that they haven't thought about. If it's a steel or a stainless steel or an exotic material, we could look at tool life. And in my previous years, I've spent many occasions doing cutter trials with various tooling suppliers. So we could really look at every aspect of the job and try and make it as profitable as possible.
Interesting. If your machine shop is facing, if you're currently looking to improve productivity, then Wayne could be somebody that you could be speaking to if what he's saying is resonating with you. From my perspective here, Wayne, I always try and play the skeptic as well, because we have to. It's everything's not always good. So in my mind, why should people look at yourself, because they are buying into you as an individual, and think, okay, well, this guy's the person that can really help me address some of the issues that I'm facing in my machine shop. You talk about your experience. That's really what I want to get out of this.
I think really, and hopefully this comes across in this video, but if it doesn't, it will certainly come across when I walk into a machine shop, is the passion that I've got for the industry. And I've loved engineering for 20 years, and I'm always trying to better myself. I'm always learning. I don't pretend to know it all, but I've got a lot of experience, certainly for my age. I've worked in quite a few companies on. I've made every type of part you can imagine and machined every material you can imagine. And I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it, but
I mean, what sort of industries? What give me an idea of the type of part product that you would have been involved in from a production sense within your companies and the experience that you have.
So I've machined anything from one-offs, real complex 5-axis Formula One components, which I've done for quite a few years. For obviously, a lot of exotic materials there as well. Anything from that to a high volume production run where we'd be machining parts, and it might only be 2 or 3 minutes a part of machining, but we're making 20,000 parts, and every second is absolutely crucial because it really dictates how many parts you can make per day, per week, per month. So and my passion really is production. I love the challenge of getting every second possible out of a job. Because if you're making one Formula One part, it doesn't matter if it takes 2 hours or 2 hours and a half. It doesn't really make any difference. But on production, every second counts.
How did you how did it come about that you're running this business now? Is it something from your perspective that you thought, I've got all these skills, I've done this for so many years, I've achieved this, I've achieved that, so I want to I can create a business here where I can give back to other engineering companies. Is that kind of how it came about?
Yeah, so probably like yourself, I heard so many times that people that run machine shops that moan about we just can't find anyone, we can't do this, we can't do that, and there's so many things holding so many people back. So I thought, in life, the goal to becoming successful is solving problems, and I thought there's a massive problem here, and no one's addressing it, and there's all these companies out here that are struggling. What can I do that would make an impact? I love helping people anyway. By nature, it's just something that I enjoy doing. So I decided to go down a slightly different road and offer my skills and experience to be able to help other people. And
I guess some of the challenges that employers face these days is the uncertainty, or machine shops face, and this will resonate with the audience, I'm sure. Is short-term contracts versus long-term contracts. How secure is the work?
Yep.
Can I employ somebody off the back of this new job? Is it, if I employ someone, am I going to have to get rid of them in a few months' time?
Yep.
I suppose this is the area where you can nicely slot in as well, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, every engineering company has peaks and troughs, and I know from having my own machine shop that you'll have 3 months where you're really, really busy and you're making loads of money, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have 1 month and everything goes quiet, and you start panicking and you think, damn it, I've just taken on someone 2 months ago. That's a wage that I could really now do without paying, and things are not always good forever, and they nothing lasts forever. So if you've got a bit of a short-term busy period, which isn't going to last forever, and you're like, I don't want to take someone on, however, right now we're struggling, that's when someone like myself could come in and I could, help get the machines up and running, help make the machine shop more efficient, and just help in the short term with a view that in 3 months' time things may change, and then my services may not be required.
And I often think as well, there's that, and I'm guilty of it myself running a company. You think you're working on everything all day, and this would be likened to a machine shop owner or a manufacturing business owner. You're working on everything all day, every day. And sometimes you don't take a step back to kind of look at the holistic view and go, actually, there are some fundamental things here we're doing which aren't right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bad way to be in my mind. And I do it myself. I'm guilty of it, but I'm sure a lot of business owners are. You need to get away from that, don't you? I think it's very important for you to actually listen to other external sources, because I'm hearing from this that it's not just about your hands-on coming in and being able to help potentially on a day-to-day basis. It's about actually changing maybe the way the manufacturing process works by the introduction of other products and other systems in order to achieve greater gains.
So I come in as a fresh pair of eyes. I've got no financial or political ties to any of the staff, any of the management, and I can really just see the company for what it is, see a job for what it is, and not have any other views swaying my opinion. So sometimes, if you can't get out the box and look in, sometimes it's best to get a fresh pair of eyes in that can actually just see it for what it is and make decisions based on their findings.
What are the challenges?
So the challenges really are recruitment and the inconsistency of work. I think most engineering companies can deal with the cost of tool increases and the cost of material going up in price. That those sort of day-to-day challenges can be overcome one way or another. But the biggest problem right now, and I can only see this problem getting worse, is the recruitment side. Because even when I started my apprenticeship 20 years ago, at school they don't push engineering. They'll tell you to go and be an electrician or a plumber or a doctor or a dentist, but no one even mentions the word engineering. I got into engineering because my dad was a tool maker his whole life, and I used to go to work with him as a kid, and he'd give me a block of wood and a hammer and a couple of nails and a saw, and I'd make something, and I was always sort of using my hands and trying to be quite creative. But this day and age, that it's just they're not pushing it anything like what they used to years and years ago. So the problem I can see in 10 years' time that there's going to be even less engineers out there for people to approach.
And I suppose that means that companies are unable to tap into superior knowledge to grow their company then, aren't they? If they haven't got those ready-made engineers there, they're not going to be able to benefit from their ideas, which is potentially where something like what we're talking about here comes in. Yeah,
that's right. So I could help in the short term with plugging the skills gap, training their staff and getting their staff up to a better level. So, they're prepared for the next few years that are to come. And, I can provide an ongoing service, whether it's, a day or two a week, a couple of days a month, just on an ad hoc basis. So
and what's your view on automation and stuff like that? Because I know as running your machine shop, that was kind of a big part of what you offered, wasn't it? That lights out continuous productivity.
So I've seen in the last 5 years that the number of companies that have got into automation compared to if I think back 5-6 years ago, there was a handful. You could probably count them on two hands, but a lot of companies now are adopting automation, whether it be sticking a robot on a 3-axis machine or whether they're going out and buying a fully blown 32 pallet 5-axis machine. So companies are getting there, but not enough. I'm not seeing enough companies get into automation.
And would you be encouraging that even for manufacturers of lower volume parts, less value parts? Is there still the wins in that area for those sort of businesses?
100%. Anyone that's not getting into automation now, my question would be, how can you afford to not get into automation? I don't understand how anyone makes money now running an 8-hour day shift. They might even have a night shift. But if the machines are not efficient, and we know this by various people have said that the efficiency on a 3-axis machine is 20 to 30%. And we were consistently running these multi-pallet machines at 90+% spindle utilisation, and without that, it's very, very difficult. So I'm a really big believer in, if you're not in automation, you really need to start looking at it.
And what's your opinion on the different sectors? Which ones have you worked in? Which ones are the best to work in? Which ones are and again, is this kind of advice that people might be able to lean on you from? Yeah, which ones are the most rewarding? Which are the most profitable? Are these things that you could, maybe tell us about now and also talk to people about?
So I've worked in pretty much every industry you can imagine. I think our main ones were motorsport, aerospace, medical, scientific, a lot of Formula One, and they are all different industries get busy and quiet at different times. So I think the diversification is absolutely key. So you've covered all your bases. So when something like COVID comes along and the aerospace industry drops off a cliff, well, you've got other industries to fall back on. And I think anyone in this day and age that just focuses on one or two industries, it's a risky business. So diversification is absolutely crucial.
And how do you go about charging then? Let's say somebody's watching this and they're going, okay, I'm going to get involved with this. I really want to see whether there's something we can improve, a way we can make parts better, investment in equipment maybe. How are you going to charge me?
So typically it'd be on a day rate. So, I could come in for a day, an initial day as an assessment, or we could sign up for a week, or, whatever you're sort of looking for, really.
And how do you think that, based on that, and being, again, I bring my skeptic head into this, people are always going, okay, well, if I pay this, what am I going to get in return? What's my return of investment? How long is it going to take? How do you embark upon that conversation where somebody actually says, yeah, okay, Wayne, well, we're going to do this, but I need to see X in return? Is there a way of valuing that proposition?
Depends whether they're looking for a short-term solution or a long-term solution. So I would love to go into a company and say that I'm going to make you an extra 50 grand a month. However, if a company is willing to invest, because that's what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for companies willing to invest in me and machinery, tooling, and everything that goes with it. So if a company is willing to invest and they're looking for a 6-month, for example, project or something like that we want to work on, the numbers will speak for themselves. And, the investment in me will pay for itself no end because of all the improvements and the challenges that I'm going to help them with. And it's going to be, a very worthwhile investment.
And by the very nature of the how long the business has been running, you've got existing customers, I guess, that are continually working with you because they've seen these improvements, they've seen these gains, and they've seen this as an opportunity. So
currently I'm working with a couple of the leading Formula One teams, as well as some subcontract engineering companies. Most of them are a day or two, a week, or a couple of days a month, something like that. So it's not Monday to Friday at one company. It's just typically a day here, a day there, or plug in the gap as and when they need it. So, and that's the beauty of it, is there's no long-term commitment. So they have that flexibility.
And I think that is the biggest value in a lot of businesses these days, is being able to be agile and be able to push and pull. Yep. Wayne, it's been a really great insight into your consultancy. If you're interested and if you're looking to move your business forward, and you can feel some of the pains that we talk about here, whether you're suffering with finding new recruits, finding the right engineers, or you're looking in your business and thinking, how can I, my overheads are too high and I'm not making enough profit, and there are all these factors that are kind of going through your mind, then this gentleman here may be able to help you. Wayne, thank you very much for your time today, and good luck with the business, and it's been really good to see you again. And thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much, Paul. All the best.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the MTDCNC Podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, specialists in a wide range of exotic materials for any application for all your engineering needs.